Thursday morning. It's McCollum on Business. I'm Stephen McCollum, and for the next 30 minutes or so, I'm going to get you updated on what's happening around the business world. Of course, we look at the Market Watch, and there's a lot of news out there this morning, folks. Basically, we just had to trash the show this morning and start all over with what is happening out there. We'll get you updated on it all. And also, we'll look at the stocks we're paying attention to and the local and national stories you need to know as well. And folks, let's not delay it all. Let's get right into it with that Market Watch. Well, the market's opened. Everything right now is in the green or the black there. But here's the problem. Our oil prices are jumping high today, 3% up as of right now. Iran Supreme Leader says uranium must remain in the country of Iran, that it will not come out. Obviously, that's a no-go, at least so far, with the Trump administration out there as well. Then there's news that UAE's, their pipeline that's going to bypass the Strait of Hormuz, they say it's nearly 50% complete from their side of it, the UAE, to get more oil into the markets as well. But obviously, oil prices rising is a big deal here today, and it's causing stocks to start to fall here as we're about 30 minutes into the trading day out there. Dow Jones right now is still up 41 points, 50,007 as of right now. The stocks are trending down as of right now with all of this news coming out. But also positive. S&P 500 is up to 2 points right now to 74.16. The NASDAQ, however, is on the negative side. It is 87 points down right now to 26,182. Russell 2K is up 19 right now, 28.25 for the Russell 2K. On the NASDAQ side of things, just why is it down compared to the others as of right now? Well, little change in the chip side. For instance, NVIDIA, which we'll talk about in a minute, did their reporting yesterday. Huge numbers for them, but they're little changed today after that earnings report. And NASDAQ and the chip stocks are just kind of there today, and that's why they're down 89 points on the NASDAQ side of things as well. So obviously oil is the biggest thing everybody's paying attention to, and then there's Bitcoin settling down here, 76,999 after pushing that 80,000 limit end of last week. Found comfortably here this week so far through at least Wednesday and early morning trading here, just stuck at the 76,000 level, 76,997 for Bitcoin here today. Stocks we're paying attention to, well, first one, they did their earnings yesterday. We're going to look at NVIDIA. Revenue, they say, surged, increased 85% year over year. Yeah, their revenue is now at $81.62 billion in the first quarter. That blew away the analyst expectation of $78.86 billion as well. And as I said, even with that, well, their shares are little changed here, right? 0.58% down right now for NVIDIA. And earlier today, they were paused. They went up, and now they're back down again here as we do see this trend of a sell-off happening here on the market right now as well. Another interesting thing happening around the computer and the tech world, quantum stocks out there. Shares of quantum computing companies soared earlier today. So let's look at Rigetti Computing as our first one we're going to look at here. They're up 22.81%. We're going to look at a few of these here. But the Wall Street Journal reported that the government plans to award $2 billion in grants to 9 different firms. The deal also includes government equity stakes as well. This is why these stocks are shooting through the roofs today. So Rigetti's up 23.46%. D-Wave Quantum, they're also up huge today, 23.68%. Quantum Computing's the other stock we're going to look at. Quantum Computing's up 14.80% right now as well. I can tell you IonQ's up just over 8%. IBM's up 7% this morning. Global Foundries were up 13%. Last time I looked at them, quantum computing stocks are way up based off of that Wall Street Journal report of government infusion of cash into 9 companies, and of course, equity states going out as well. So they're up high today, kind of driving the quantum stocks through the roof off of that announcement. Later on, when we come back, we're going to look at Walmart. Well, they put out some reporting and numbers yesterday. Walmart did. Rocket Lab, that space company, well, they took a hit yesterday, but not necessarily anything they did. We'll talk about that. And then Intuit is another one. Obviously, tax season just ended. Let's see what they're talking about. And then Kroger, right? Fry's here locally. I'm going to add that stock in as well because they made an announcement yesterday that should make you kind of perk up a little bit here in the face of all the inflationary food pricing and things to that effect that we're dealing with. So we got all this news out there on the Iran war, the Iran and peace negotiations, oil going up over 3% here this morning as well. Well, all of that has happened. So let's focus on, yesterday we were kind of negative here on this show with all of it out there. Let's go into some sports things here to start the show. And I found a couple things interesting throughout this next story. One, if you don't know, Fanatics is the biggest sports brand out there. They make the uniforms and things you buy for sports apparel. They do the Fanatics Fest, etc. But them and American Express, obviously financial company, they announced a partnership between the two of them that's going to allow Amex users to tap into their sports fandom. Now, I'm going to tell you about this partnership because I found out some interesting stats here on the sports fans and relationships that I wanted to bring to you. So, American Express is now the official payments partner across select Fanatics online and retail locations throughout the world, and they're a presenting sponsor at Fanatics Fest, which, if you don't know, Fanatics Fest is a huge sports fan festival held annually over there in New York City. They get all the sports stars to show up there. Here's a stat that kind of shocked me. American Express found out that 80% of U.S. American Express consumer card members actually identify as sports fans, and they just happen to have an American Express as well. This new partnership combines the power of American Express's global payments network as well as the expertise that American Express has in membership, their loyalty programs, and experiences there. And now that is going into that Fanatics sports ecosystem as well, which obviously is going to create opportunities to recognize, reward fans, and everything that are the sports fans out there. So there's going to be a new Fanatics Amex card. You can earn fan cash, Fanatics digital award currency, can be redeemed for authentic apparels, tickets, trading cards, collectibles, whatever you want, including experiences out there as well. So this is a fascinating hold here. Fanatics is already got their teeth into so many things, not just in the sports world, and now they're going into the partnerships there with the financial side of things there for Fanatics. I, for one, am not a Fanatics fan. I think they create quality has gone down with Fanatics over the years as they become more and more as the company in these spaces and everything. So will that affect the financial side, right, as well? But 80% of American Express cardholders identify as sports fans when they fill out their information and stuff. That's a fascinating number in my eyes out there. And speaking of sports fans, yes, World Cup's coming up here, folks. Couple of weeks away, and there's actually a site called bookies.com. Yeah, it's really out there. But they predict Americans are going to wager $3.1 billion on World Cup games through online sports betting. Obviously, that's legal in a bunch of states here in America and things. But then you got the prediction markets. This is the Kalshi Poly market. They're projected on another side of it to handle about $2.4 billion in bets just around the World Cup as well. These are all forecasts out there, and bookies.com did this forecasting. Americans generally, they legally bet $1.8 billion on the 2022 World Cup. That was the one that was over in Qatar. That's about the same amount they wagered on the 2026 Super Bowl, folks. This is how big the World Cup is in the betting circles. Then if you go to a recent PwC survey, they found that 58% of Americans actually plan to bet on the World Cup. Now, these bets could be through an online betting service or prediction markets. But, I mean, it could go into these include things like fantasy sports contests. Then you got the informal wagers with friends or family members or coworkers, things to that effect. This is staggering money for this event. About a third of those planning to put money down on wagers. Well, they say they plan to wager at least $250, according to this PwC study. And then they based their findings on a poll of more than 2,000 adults in April. Now, a couple things going into these dollar amounts. One, this year's World Cup, it's the first time it's going to have 48 teams. Normally, it used to be 32 teams until this year. They've obviously added several teams to the field. And it's going to feature a lot more matches because of that, 104 total World Cup matches. The other thing that's playing into this number, because it's in North America, Canada, Mexico, and the United States, obviously more matches are going to be played in prime time and at times where the Americans will be up, right, in our normal daytime activities, like as opposed to Qatar, where you're getting up at 3 in the morning, 2 in the morning to watch those games, or staying up super late to watch them as well. So that's all going to fuel engagement. But that's the gambling side of things, folks, if, for the World Cup coming up as well. Obviously, it's going to help companies that I'm going to use the term struggling, but they're fine money wise, but they're having a hard time finding new customers and people to bet on stuff and grow that business. And obviously, World Cup's going to add to FanDuel, DraftKings, and BetMGM, etc. coming up here in less than a month out there. Now, on the business side of things, non-gambling business side, Authentic Brands Group out there. This is a huge management firm. The dozens, about 50 retail media companies out there. Well, the founder there, well, he came out and said, one, we're getting a new CEO, which means he's stepping aside, but also he's planning to go with an IPO by the end of this year. Authentic Brands Group, as I said, over 50 things, but Reebok's their big one, Champion as well. I believe they own Brooks Brothers as well in this portfolio. There's over 50, so you can sit here and name them all. He said he expects to take the company the founder did public in the next 12 months. And as I said, he's got a new CEO coming in. The former Wynn Resorts CEO will be its next chief executive. So he said the transition of the CEO, he said he's stepping aside and bringing in the Wynn exec because it's necessary because they're trying to grow Authentic into a $100 billion company over the next 5 years. He says the founder says he needs to spend 100% of his time focused on the mergers and acquisitions, which so far has kind of been the lifeblood of this specific company. Authentic generates about $38 billion in retail sales and has become a major force in the retail industry. And they're known for buying intellectual property behind popular brands that are in distress mode, even bankruptcy. And then they license that IP for lucrative royalties on the back side of it. It has more than, as I said, 50 brands, but that also includes Sports Illustrated, Guess, Juicy Couture, as well as those types of companies. They've had a bunch of huge sponsorship opportunities like Shaquille O'Neal, David Beckham, Kevin Hart as well. Now, Authentic was most entirely focused on apparel retailers for a bunch of years, but this is where they pivoted. They're looking more towards the entertainment acquisitions, which they say are currently the driving force of the business. So we talked about Fanatics, right? Partnering up with American Express and not just focusing on the apparel. Now you got Authentic Brands kind of doing the same focus into other things besides retail sales out there. IPO possibly coming this year. And we haven't heard from this company in a long time. We know they were struggling mightily in the car field. Stellantis. Well, saw this reporting this morning. Stellantis said it plans to invest 60 billion euros, which is about 69.7 billion US dollars, under a new 5-year strategic plan by their CEO that's very aggressive compared to the way that Stellantis has been operating and struggling over the last several years. They're going to target annual cost savings of 6 billion euros by 2028. So they're going to put 36 billion euros toward the company's portfolio of automotive brands. 60% of the investment is expected for just the North American market. Stellantis expects to introduce more than 60 new vehicles and conduct major refreshes of 50 other models. Now, this includes all electric vehicles, the hybrids, obviously the standard, gas engine cars as well. The other 24 billion euros, that's going to be put toward global vehicle platforms, new technologies for the automaker and its products as well. So big money investment here to try to get Stellantis off the bottom floor here of the automotive world. They also said they plan to achieve positive free cash flow by 2028. If you remember, they lost 22.3 billion euros just last year. Yeah. A lot of that was that 22 billion euro restructuring. That was all the car companies are doing it, pulling back from those all electric vehicles they were all shifting towards. Stellantis is targeting revenue growth across its major global operations through 2030. That's 4 years away for a company losing a ton of money and people not buying their cars like they were at one time. But it's also aiming for North American revenue growth of 25%. And they want an operating income in the North American division of between 8 and 10% in that same period up to 2030. It's targeting a 15% revenue growth and AOI of between 3 and 5% for the bigger Europe conglomerate for them. It expects double-digit revenue increases in South America, Middle East, and Africa, with an investment number there, an income level there of between 4 and 6% in Asia Pacific. So Stellantis, first time in a long time, they haven't been reactionary to their bad sales and putting a plan forward, a very aggressive plan as well. So we hadn't talked Stellantis in a while. It came out this morning. Thought I'd get that information. Obviously, Jeep brand is their big one. And they did say they're going to focus on 4 big brands here in North America, Jeep being one of them, to get that back up to what it once was out there. And hey, you weight loss fans out there with the pills that have just come out, the shots, the GLP-1 drugs as well. Well, this morning, Eli Lilly said its next generation drug has actually cleared a late-stage trial. Yeah, this is all for patients with obesity. And this new one delivered significant weight loss across several different doses. These results bring Eli Lilly one step closer to filing for approval of the weekly injection. It's called I knew I was going to do this. Retatrutide is what it's called. It works differently from the existing shots and pills from both Lilly and their competitor Novo Nordisk. But these are at least these trials are showing it's more effective than what's currently on the market. For instance, the highest dose of retatrutide, well, it helped patients lose 28.3% of their weight, which is about 70.3 pounds, folks, on average, over 80 weeks. That's compared with 2.2% with the placebo. How disappointed are you if you were doing this test and you got the placebo? Everybody else is losing weight and you're not. Roughly 45% of the 2,500 patients in this phase 3 trial, they achieved 30% or more weight loss in that. So almost half of these patients, 30% weight loss. The highest dose, it helped patients with the body mass index of 35 or above who participated in an extension of the study. They lost 30.3% of their weight, an average of 104 weeks. That BMI threshold puts people at higher risk of cardiovascular complications and even diabetes at that weight. While the drug did appear to show higher rates of certain gastrointestinal side effects, nausea, diarrhea, the fun stuff, right? Especially at the highest dose, they were generally consistent with the previous phase 3 trial of retatrutide in patients with obesity and a type of knee arthritis pain as well. So it's not any worse, I guess. Some analysts previously said those side effects highlight the speed and strength of the drug's weight loss. So they're actually attributing those side effects as how fast the drug works. It throws your body kind of on the, out of whack, let's put it that way, with how it's working. The lower doses of retatrutide, well, Lilly tested in this latest study, the lower doses were also associated with fewer discontinuations due to side effects. 65% of people taking the highest dose of this new retatrutide in this trial, they achieved a BMI of less than 30. That falls under the threshold for obesity, and they did that in 80 weeks as well. Ahead of these results, some analysts said they were expecting to see weight loss higher than what was seen with the Zepbound, which is also the Eli Lilly drug loss, the GLP one. That's around 20 to 22% on average weight loss. This new one's getting people into the 30% levels as well. Stage 3 trials, not on the market yet, but how aggressive these weight loss drugs are getting moving forward as well. And finally, wherever we're getting right, school's out this week. If you're not already out from previous weeks, and graduations are today, I got one myself, right? Well, then you're going to be going on vacations. You want to go to California? You want to go to Disneyland? Well, just be aware. A California woman's actually suing a Walt Disney Company, all about allegations that the use of facial recognition technology at their theme park entrances violates consumer privacy laws. It's a class action complaint. It was filed in the Southern District of New York, which I find it interesting where they file that, since he's talking about the California results, right? It was all put on for a woman, a Riverside County woman who visited Disneyland and Disney California Adventure in early May. So this lawsuit alleges Disney began collecting biometric data from visitors, including children, at its park entrances in late April without any proper consent from the people, and it has not been fully transparent with how it uses the data. So Disney at least claims the purpose of the facial recognition technology. This is all in the Disney's privacy policy, by the way. They say the technology is to help to streamline re-entry into parks and prevent fraud, noting that guests can choose entrance lanes equipped with it when entering the park. The policy states that those entrances use images of your face taken by a camera at the entrance and the image of your face that was saved when you first used the ticket or pass. So basically, you scan it, your face pops up, right? So you can't hand it to somebody else as well. The data is deleted, according to Disney, 30 days after creation, and alternate entrances are available for individuals who do not wish to opt into the technology, according to Disney. But that's one of the alleging in the lawsuit is, I didn't know about it. I didn't know I could go to a different line. So class action lawsuit out there. So I know a lot of people are kind of uneasy about how these companies are using this AI facial recognition softwares out there as well. So just be aware of that if you're going to Disneyland this summer, if that is a concern of yours out there as well. And folks, when we come back here on Thursday's edition of McCollum on Business, we keep the show rolling as well. We'll look back into that market watch. I told you it was trending down with the news of oil going up and everything. So, and we'll see what the update is on it. Stocks we're paying attention to. Walmart's one of them out there as well. Don't forget, follow us, watch us live, TME Media AZ as well. Papa Mike says June vacation, no California. He said ours is Arizona, Utah, Wyoming, Montana, Idaho, and Nevada. Well, all except for Idaho, you're going to a beautiful area. Papa Mike. Come on back, folks. McCollum on Business. we're back here, McCollum on Business Thursday edition. Appreciate you for joining us here. 7 a.m. is when we get started. Don't forget also programming notes. Keep forgetting to mention this on Monday. Markets are closed. Memorial Day holiday. We will not be here for McCollum on Business on Monday. So we'll be back on Tuesday. Of course, we're here today, here tomorrow as well, Friday morning, 7 a.m., Monday off, and be back on Tuesday when the markets do reopen as well. We got local stories coming up, but first, you just saw the commercial there for the Real Matrix. Fridays at noon here at Rumble and also on the free podcast systems. Just search the Real Matrix Angry Patriot. It pops right up for you as well. Or all of our programming at rumble.com/user/TME Media. There is a channel, a little link there on the top of the middle of the page. Once you go to that main page, and it'll bring up and you can go to the Real Matrix or any of the shows there, and it'll just show you the show's programming. That original landing page is all done by Rumble, and it's just as shows get updated, things get pushed down. A little bit more convoluted there, but you can go to that channel link out there. Noon tomorrow as well, new episode, Real Matrix. I had no influence on that. It's his own show. Data centers is his topic tomorrow as well. Those of you that do watch us here knows how I am not happy with data centers these days, with how it's causing my prices to go up, no matter what they claim that they're not out there. Just had my HOA meeting last night, and we had to talk about water pricing again because of the increased dollar amounts based around those data centers. So he's got the data center subject coming up tomorrow, of course, at noon, Rumble and on the free podcast systems as well. Of course, as soon as we're done here, we go into the main event live 8 to 10 today. Uncle Lou comes in today as well. No UFC this week. We will talk UFC last week, college baseball. ASU gets underway, Big 12 baseball tournament out there in Surprise. The Mountain West tournament's going on over here in Mesa right now as well. Folks, busy time with NHL. Vegas Knights beat the Colorado last night. We'll talk about all that and more coming up on the main event. And as soon as we're done, you can catch this show and the main event as well live on YouTube, TME Media AZ. You're going to want to like, you're going to want to subscribe to that. You're going to want to share it with the friends as well, because we have things coming up there that you're going to want to watch it. But everything's on demand at YouTube and on Rumble as well. Rumble.com/user/TME Media. The only exception is the Real Matrix is only over on Rumble and the free podcast systems. YouTube, they have issues with shows that question things out there. So not on YouTube as of now. And then, folks, of course, follow TME Media AZ. That's the parent company of our production side with Kobe, me, Riley, and Ethan. You know, our production company, we do a lot more than just these shows around here. That page just tells you what we do around here, how we'd like to work with you, show announcements, things going around the show. So you want to follow that on X as well, if you are able to do so, along with the individual shows out there. Folks, with all that being said, we got a busy day here with oil prices going up. They're up over 3% here this morning. Let's get back into that Market Watch. So stocks are, like I said, they were falling earlier. You see the S&P 500 has gone negative here as well. NASDAQ is negative still here this morning. But the Dow Jones still holding on to the positive. It just hit that 50,000 level there. It was above it earlier. It is trending toward the negative here as trading goes on, but it's a slow descent for the Dow Jones, up 42 points right now to that 50,000 even right now. Then you got the S&P 500 has gone negative on the day, trending down 13 points right now to 73.99. Here on this Friday, the NASDAQ continues to be down 188 points down right now. 26,081 for the NASDAQ. Then you got that small cap index hanging on to that positive side as well. 12.70 points up right now. 28.18 for the small cap index. Oil is the big thing today. Oil prices are jumping around the Iran Supreme Leader saying uranium must remain in the country. But some positive news on the gas side, as I told you, the United Arab Emirates, they announced their new pipeline, the one we told you about last week, the ones that's going to bypass the Strait of Hormuz. They say it's nearly 50% complete. as of this point. The faster they can get that online and start getting oil out of that area a little faster, you might see some declines here in the oil prices on that global market coming up here. Bitcoin's trading at 77,034 right now as well. Bitcoin's just settled in here after being up in the 80s at the end of last week, settling down here in the 77,000 range, 76,000, 77,000 range all of this week. Stocks we're paying attention to right now. Well, first one is Walmart out there. Well, they are down 6.43% here today. They issued a worse than expected, we'll put it that way, outlook for their full year, but also not just the full year, but its current quarter as well. Walmart expects adjusted earnings per share to be between $2.75 and $2.85. Well, the expectation's at $2.91. Its first quarter adjusted earnings per share was in line with expectations. Its revenue did top estimates. Their future guidance is the problem. Disappointing investors out there, and they're down 6.51% here today. And then that space company, no, not SpaceX, that's getting its IPO here soon. We're talking about Rocket Lab right now here. We're going to look at their stock. They're down 7.74%. They didn't do anything. SpaceX filed a prospectus with the SEC to trade publicly on the NASDAQ. We knew it was coming, but they filed a prospectus. And CNBC reported last week, well, SpaceX plans to kick off a roadshow to market the deal on June 8th. Well, this is negatively affecting Rocket Lab. Now, there have been competitions for a while, but obviously when SpaceX hits an IPO and hits the market, how many investors are going to flock towards SpaceX's side? So Rocket Lab down 7.33% based off of what SpaceX is doing in the market. Now let's look at Intuit out there. Of course, tax season just ended. Unless you filed an extension, you have until October, but Intuit's down 19.18%. They announced a 17% workforce cut. They also missed analyst expectations for revenue in their third fiscal quarter. They had $8.56 billion in revenue. The consensus forecast was $8.61 billion. Intuit missing their numbers and large layoffs. 17%. They're down 19.23% here on this Thursday as well. And then let's look at Kroger right here. Locally, it's known as Fry's. 1.81% down right now. Bloomberg reported that they plan to significantly cut prices across its stores on food. They want to take on Walmart and Costco more aggressively. That was the whole point between the Kroger and Albertsons merger, was to compete more with Walmart. Well, they're going to do it on their own here since that merger didn't go through. Cutting its prices significantly across the stores, they claim, to take on those big box warehouses and Walmart and Costco. Stock's down 1.88% here today based off of that news as well. So maybe some relief for those of us that do shop at Fry's. Maybe some relief coming our way here a little bit. I did notice that I place groceries generally on Fridays. I did notice that they were doing some big sales here the last couple weeks, just out of nowhere. So maybe that was the start of what they were doing out there. Let's get into some local stories here as well. Appreciate you joining us here on YouTube as well. Papa Mike says, what? That's it. I'm taking and sending you hundreds of Idaho pics. First of all, that'd be fun. I appreciate that. But second of all, spent a lot of vacations driving across Idaho. Idaho Falls, Pocatello, all of that. I've seen Idaho top to bottom. Yeah, Coeur d'Alene. I've seen it top to bottom. I said what I said. It's the place you have to drive through to get to Wyoming and Montana and stuff like that if you go that route. So that's going to be fun here, right, as we're going into vacation season out there. But, of course, we got some local stories here for you we need to let you know about. Well, high gas prices. Well, they could cost Arizona candidates coming up here in the ballot box. Now, this is a election story, but it is, we're going into election season. We don't do politics on this show, but the gas prices, right, they're affecting you and me. I'm driving a gas car right now with mine in the shop. Filled up the other day, and sticker shock, right? $65 to fill that thing up. So I feel the pain, right? You guys feel the pain out there. We all do with groceries, diesel prices through the roof. We had the story on farmers yesterday as well. It's also going to affect some candidates out there. So, it is interesting how this is going on and not being driven down as well. 68% of respondents in a recent Arizona Public Opinion Pulse poll, that was all done by Noble Predictive Insights, they said gas prices are likely to influence their choices in the upcoming midterm elections. So incumbents need to be aware of this. I'm sure they are, but as voters, you're not alone if you're feeling that way. The poll surveyed 996 Arizona voters from May 5th to the 7th. They found 90% were concerned about rising fuel prices, including 75% of Democrats, 54% of Republicans who said they were very concerned about those gas prices as well. This polling shows fuel costs have become much of a political issue as it is an economic one right now. So you're filling up and then you're cursing the politicians, is what it's saying as well. So in this poll, the political intensity is actually stronger among some voters. Democrats need most, right? Younger voters, 82% are unhappy with gas prices. Hispanics, 79%. Parents, 80%. We're all driving our kids around town. And for those of us that have kids that drive, we're paying their gas bills, right? Out there. So as of Wednesday morning, you guys know this. The Statewood average for a gallon of gas was $4.83, nearly $1.50 higher than a year ago. So look, we got the midterms coming up. You have all the primary stuff happening right now as well. So I just wanted to, we all know gas prices are affecting us in so many ways. But I want to let you know if you're feeling that way in the ballot box, you're not alone, according to those stories out there as well. So next up, 500 employees are losing their jobs here in the Valley, according to a WARN notice as well. It was filed by SDH Education West. Well, that's Sodexo, if you don't know who that is. They provide catering, facilities management, employee benefits, personal home services. They do all that stuff with about 100 million consumers daily. But here's what they're doing. That's the parent company. Sodexo, does things around college campuses and some, sporting event buildings, things to that effect. Well, we're talking about specifically Grand Canyon University. Yeah, that's where the layoffs are going to happen with Sodexo coming up as well. They're going to lay off 489 employees, according to the WARN notice filed here in Arizona as well. So heads up on that if you work for Sodexo there at Grand Canyon University as well. So we all know this strain here on the market, but I wanted to pass that along to you. And then finally here, if you're a sports fan here locally, some good news for you out there. Suns, Mercury, well, they have extended their TV deal here locally to air games on that with Gray Media, which is Arizona's family. Same way you've been watching it the last couple of years, free over-the-air television. Now, if you have cable or an antenna, you can watch these games for free as well. Now, sometimes the games are unnational and they can't play them there, and everything. But they have extended this deal through 2030 as well. So Arizona Family remains the local television broadcast performer as well. This was all announced yesterday. This is all part of that over-the-air for free deal that Matt Ishbia, the owner of the Suns and Mercury, is doing. And it's fantastic. Also, the G League, what are they called? The Valley Suns, I believe. They're included in this deal as well. So free basketball continuing here for your favorite programs. Announced yesterday as well. So that relationship continues. Fantastic. NFL's going streamer service for their big games and everything. Matt Ishbia, at least with the Suns, is going local for free. Let's get as many eyeballs on this team as humanly possible. Great news from a great owner out there as well. Don't forget, on Monday, we are off because of the holiday here at McCollum on Business. But we're back tomorrow, folks, 7 a.m. Make sure you come and join us as well. We'd greatly appreciate it there. For everybody joining us now, catching us on demand, we thank you very much. We got the main event coming up next. Come and join me over there as well on Robat TV Live, as well as on TME Media AZ on YouTube. We'll see you over there, folks. Everything will be on demand. Don't forget also, Pit Stop coming to you tomorrow. We'll have it posted tomorrow for you. Got graduation today, and it's been a busy week here. We can get that out for the fun racing weekend tomorrow. So we'll talk more about that tomorrow, folks. We'll see you then. Have a great Thursday afternoon. We'll see you tomorrow, everyone.